Unless. 2 little syllables, not much for the ear, but it carries a message we all must hear. Unless we fundamentally rehumanize medicine, it will fail at its core purpose: to protect, to promote, and to restore the well-being of patients, families, and communities. I'm Dr. Ernest Brown, and I want to thank you for being here. For 20 years, my office has been on the road. Wherever a patient needs me, that's where I go. It could be taking them to the hospital, escorting them to a clinic, advocating, navigating, coaching, strategizing, whatever it takes. That's what I'm known for, and that's what I take pride in. It is the trust of my patients. That's everything to me. And, well, maybe that makes me a dinosaur. And that's okay, because I don't mind. The thing is, I really want to take you back in time. 70 years ago, Life magazine took this photojournalist, W. Eugene Smith, legendary photojournalist, to carry around a story of a country doctor who, oddly enough, is also named Ernest. This is Dr. Ernest Sirianni in rural Colorado. Population, 1,500. 1 doctor, no backup. Delivering babies at 3 a.m., setting broken bones in kitchens, holding the hand of a dying patient. That's what medicine was, real, raw. This may look like exhaustion and despair, but it's not. It's determination, it's devotion, it's everything. So I'm curious, how many here have had a house call from a doctor like Dr. Sirianni? Raise your hands. Some of them are my patients, so I'm going to ignore them. So, nice try, guys. That being said, many physicians back in the 1960s still did that, and over the time became dinosaurs, which I'm carrying on as a tradition because I think there's value added to that. Where did all of that care go? Well, corporate suits came in, and they sold us on efficiency and scale. Behind closed doors, profits, margins, spreadsheets. What they stole was time itself. Time to listen, time to understand, time to just be there. For patients, it just meant appointments were measured in minutes. It meant stories reduced to symptoms. And it meant that your relationship with your physician vanished. For physicians, it meant they were just checking all the boxes. Lost all of the relationships, all the conversations that used to exist, and actually question why they chose this profession in the first place. I can say healthcare has stolen the heart and soul of medicine. Remember this guy, the Lorax. He saw the Wunslers chop down every single last truffula tree until there was nothing left. But in his despair, he did leave one thing behind: a seed, a single seed, and a message. This is what healthcare could be, unless. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., grew up in the 1980s. 1980s in D.C. wasn't the white marble monuments. It was murder capital, crack cocaine, urban collapse. But out of that grew something defiant, energetic, fierce. Out of basements and alleyways, raw energy poured out into the streets. This music was DC hardcore punk. Legendary bands, Minor Threat, State of Alert, Government Issue. These were my idols. They shouted without patience, pushed without polish. It was loud, fast, and raw. But what they taught you was to show up, to stand up, and do it yourself. That's in my DNA. It will never leave me. It is how I flow through this world. It's how I take care of my patients because, little do you know, punk rock doc is who I am. All right? What was, instilled in me, that music, it was more than just music, it was community, it was a sense of purpose in a time when there was none whatsoever. And in healthcare, I feel that desolation. And for me, I'm trying to carry the torch further and farther, but it's a challenge. Really, it's not about being rebellious, it's all about love. This is Kathy and Ken, and I'm going to tell you their love story. Kathy was a student at law school, color-coded her sheets, never missed a deadline, and she met Ken, who was a clerk at a downtown firm. They had a beautiful family, 3 daughters, who grew up fast and went to college, and before they knew it, Ken and Kathy had to make their plans, big plans. They were going to travel the world, they were going to see tickets for the theater, they were going to spend time with each other, simple times, good times. However, at the age of 57, Kathy would start a sentence and leave it in midair. Ken noticed this, but he just took it in, didn't say anything to Kathy. But then she would ask him to repeat things all the time. He would just smile, nod his head, and say, everything's fine. 8 years passed, Kathy slowly disappeared. One memory at a time. But Ken, he wasn't going to send her to a nursing home. He was going to bring the care and me to her. So what he did is he learned everything that he needed to care for Kathy. He learned all of her medications, put monitors behind pictures, medications between cookbooks, everything. And that was because, first and foremost, he was her husband. His love still remains. And my job was to come into their lives and be able to support them throughout this journey. Revelation comes through experience. And as a house call physician, I go to patients' homes. I look in their cupboards. I know almost everything I could know, but never know in a clinic. One day, I was out on the street, not with that hair, but to see Kathy and just make it a regular visit, check her medications, do my notes, chart some records. This is actually what healthcare taught me. It taught me to be able to be efficient, to code, to meet the metrics. And it told me to move on. That's not what I do. Kathy was sitting in the corner. And as I was picking up my bag, I heard something. Something that insurance companies would just say isn't relevant, doesn't meet a code, doesn't matter. But for me, I turned around and I saw Kathy and this music. Hello, Dolly. And that was it. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Not punk rock, same effect though. And it stopped me and it made me think for a moment. Because I could see her with her lips moving to this melody. It was a beautiful thing. It was her saying in a way, I'm still in here. I'm in here. And that matters. So someone remembered that truffula seed and coded tool for those in need. It whirled into action with circuits and grace, AI with a heart, no lines to replace. It didn't poke, it didn't prod, it listened, it learned. It didn't seek profits for old, cold charts. It crafted a seed for those who cared the most. The one who was going to take the mantle from my patient was this gentleman, Daniel Bequer, from Music Not Impossible. Daniel is a musician, but he coded something new. This is what I'd like to call the marvelous philomophone. It is a suit that can be given to a patient and feel the music. And I had heard about this, and I'd seen what Kathy was doing. So I put it two together, and I wondered, maybe this might be something to bring Kathy back. So, called up Daniel, who was in Philadelphia, and I told him about Ken and Kathy's story. He said, bring her to me, and I'll show you what music can do. Crack of dawn, drove up to Philly, brought Daniel back with his suit, We made it to Ken's house and knocked on the door. With quiet efficiency and skill, Daniel put the suit on Kathy, and then he became a DJ for one. With his laptop, he flipped it open and started the tune, and you know that tune was Hello, Dolly. So you hear that, but she feels it. And the thing was that Kathy was there in that chair, and what you didn't notice is that she was actually crossing her legs, and she was fully erect. And that really struck Ken. Ken said, I can tell she's here right now and present. And even though this suit didn't miraculously cure her dementia, it gave time to Kathy and Ken just to be connected again, even if just for a brief moment. And it's something like this that really matters. It really matters because people like Daniel care. It gave time for Ken and Kathy to reconnect, and they have so much more future ahead, and I am there to support them every step of the way. I am a witness to Kathy's stories and many, many others. And one of the most profound things I've seen, a prescription, as powerful as may be, is sometimes no prescription at all. In the Hippocratic Oath, this should be amended because not everything has to be a pill. Across the ocean, doctors are discovering this. There's a core group of physicians that for decades, they've been exhausted by the never-ending tide of patients who've come in with depression, anxiety, chronic pain that fails to be treated. And these patients are desperate, and their physicians do not give up. So they did something radical, and I consider punk. Instead of writing prescriptions for Margaret for depression, they wrote her prescription to pottery classes at a community center. For James, 47, laid off from his work, drinking too much, marriage falling apart, one could say therapy. No, prescription for a walking group. Sarah, 23, cutting herself, 4 suicide attempts. Not another stay in the hospital. To care for dogs from a local shelter. That was her prescription. And it's been shown it works. In the UK, in 2023, it showed that there was a drop in depression by 40%, anxiety 37%, and emergency rooms visits cut in half. It has a true and real impact, and we're trying to bring it here to the United States. But with healthcare, it's challenging. Why does it work? It's very fundamental. We're not synapses. We run on love, connection, purpose, meaning. The seed is now the prescription pad, a prescription for life. Dr. Sirianni, he had his medical bag. He used it for suffering. We have a new bag now. That new bag is AI. Same purpose. It can now analyze patients' voices to understand if they're experiencing stress or depression. And rather than reaching for pills, can link them to a dog that they can just walk out in nature. At the same time, as with any tool, that same patient could be flagged. And insurance companies could say, well, they're too high risk, let's deny that claim. Or it can turn doctors, like myself, into just data entry clerks, where we're fighting healthcare more than we're fighting disease. The intention is more important. It's not the problem of the tool, it's the intention behind it. The cure, it's not in a corporate office space. It's right here. It's us giving a damn about those who are suffering. It's us rolling up our sleeves and doing it ourselves. It takes action, and that's what I'm asking of you. I've been on this road for a long time, and I'm getting old. And I can tell you that sometimes I feel just like the Lorax. Unless someone cares a whole awful lot, it's not going to get better. It's just not. In the spirit of Dr. Seuss, in the spirit of the Lorax, I will say my last piece. Makeup. Makeup. Too late. And like that. Good enough. But here's the good news, as good as can be. The future of care is with you and with me. All I am asking is that you take the time to care for each other and find a way through this world, this madness that we have, and find peace for yourself and for others. Thank you.